Hello there, I'm Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up for Sunday, April 11th, 2021. Welcome, everybody. If you don't know me, if this is your first time to watch me, hi there. I'm a professional psychic and astrologer. I've been doing professional readings since 1988, so 33 years now. In private sessions, I will cover your astrology chart and current transits. I'm a channel, an empath, and medium. So I never know when information will just come through. I'll feel it. I'll just get it. I'll get past life flashbacks. I also use the tarot and channel with that. So today I'm going to talk about the current transits, including the new moon this evening. And that will be exact. It'll reach its apex at 9:30 p.m. here, Austin time. So factor in your change in that. And then we've got some powerful transits this week. I'm going to introduce you to three different websites that I use regularly for my psychic work and some things that you can do for yourself to look at your own astrology and transits and such. And then I'm going to do mini, just one card readings for all 12 signs. And I'll put the timestamp below for each sign below this video. So yeah, so I'm going to start sharing this screen here. I'm going to leave my picture up this time today so you can still see me. Alrighty. And I'm going to start here. I have the chart of the United States of America pulled up here. And then I've got the transits here going on. So I'm actually going to kind of start backwards. I'm going to start with Pluto. The outer planets move more slowly, and the inner planets are considered more personal planets. So Pluto is the slowest moving planet of all of the outer planets, of all the planets. Its orbit is about 240 years. So here we have Pluto at 26 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct, meaning very close to the United States natal Pluto at 27 degrees. So we're in what's called a Pluto return right now. So Pluto represents death and transformation. Wherever Pluto is in your chart is where you have, in your birth chart, is where you have come in to transform some sort of deep level karma for yourself in this lifetime. And wherever it's showing up in the transits, it's transforming that area of your life here currently, so that you look at both pieces. Like, for example, here's my birth chart, and I have Pluto natally in my 12th house. And right now, Pluto is transiting my 4th house conjunct my South Node. I'm not going to go into the deets of that right now, but so you look where Pluto is in your natal chart, that's where it's transforming things this whole lifetime, and where it is currently. And that's what it's been, where the wrecking ball has been hitting in your life right now. So Pluto is power and control as well. It's protest. It's one of the rulers of Scorpio. So it's the deep, dark waters. It's hidden secrets and people in power. So Pluto in Capricorn is definitely highlighting power and control issues. And so the United States Pluto, it's in the second house. And I use a whole signs house system. There's 20 or more different house systems, but I use a whole signs, which puts each house neatly in a whole sign. Right. So to me, this is an easier way to channel with the information. So you might find if you use a different system that it puts your planets in different houses, but it's all relatives. For example, if I looked at my house in Placidus versus whole signs, there may be a few things that change signs, and you would look at the aspects in both houses. And again, I'm getting off track for those of you that might be a little bit deeper in astrology. If you're new to astrology, you're probably going, whatever she just said. Okay, so Pluto in Capricorn in the second house in the United States chart. So second house is ruled by Taurus. So Taurus is things of the earth, quite literally the earth. It's what we value, our land. It's our food, how we feed ourselves. It's our money, our finances, how we bring money into our lives, where we store things, where we store our money, where we store our food. So Pluto here in the second house of the United States chart. So I think of, land, for example, in the United States, our money, our power, right? So we stole the land here in America from the natives that lived here. We took away the land, right? So there's some karma here in terms of our land. Then we stole people from their land and brought them about to make money in our lands, right? We made money on the backs of others. Our nation did, right? So here we are having a Pluto to Pluto matchup conversation, transforming these principles that were in effect when we formed our country. So some of these principles, like who was in power when we formed our nation? It was white men, right? Women, minorities, children, no power. White men, all the power. So we're having this Pluto return. So we're having this reckoning of this karma, this transformation of our karma here in this society. And this is like the Tower of Babel falling. This is bringing down the institutions and power that were created based on power over someone else, the energy of the power over the people with the money having the power, the people with the money making the rules, the people with the money taking what they want from other people. So it's interesting that we're having the Black Lives Matter thing come to the force. And, and just an aside on that, I've had people say, well, I think all lives matter. FYI, in case you don't know this, Black Lives Matter does not mean that only Black Lives Matter. Of course, all lives matter. What the Black Lives Matter campaign is about is realizing that Black people have been disparaged and put in, have not been treated equally and valued equally, and they've been treated differently our whole country's history, right? From the inception, even before the inception of our country, we had slaves here on our land. So this is a reckoning of this dynamic. So, and this is powerful. And now Pluto is at 26 degrees. So it's conjunct. Anything within 7 degrees is technically conjunct. And then the closer the degree it gets, the more powerful or potent a conjunction is. So when something's exactly on top of it at the exact same degree, you cannot mistake it at all. When it's within 1, 2, 3 degrees, you're going to feel it. So we've been feeling this for a while, all of last year. And then next year, in February of 2022, is when we have the exact Pluto return. And then it'll be until 2024 that Pluto moves into Aquarius. So we're going to be continuing to have these towers of Babel falling in our society, the way we have structured even our government, our financial institutions can be completely volatile and be transformed here over the next few years. Will be, not can be, will be. Like Pluto, anything Pluto gets close to, it transforms without exception. So, and then anything in aspect to Pluto is powerful. So right now, since last year, we've had Aries squaring Pluto. So Aries was the sister of Aries. She was on the front lines in battle. She was happily, chopping up people's heads and stabbing them. And, she took glee kind of at her power. But the story goes that all the gods were invited to a wedding on Mount Olympus, except for Aries. She was not invited, and she wasn't having it. She showed up at the wedding and wreaked havoc, right? And so Eris is in Aries. For everyone that's alive on the planet right now, you're going to have Eris in Aries somewhere in your birth chart. Like again, going back to my chart here, I have it at 10 degrees when I was born in 1963. And Eris today is, I believe Eris is at 23, 24. It's at 24 degrees, right? Okay, today. So Eris is squaring Pluto. So Pluto's at 26, Eris is at 24. So it's a 2-degree orb from the square. But so what we have is this war goddess basically squaring off with death and transformation. So we see this as all the protests in the street. It was exact last year with some of these Black Lives Matter protesting. Eris stands up for her rights. She's like, you aren't going to do this to me. No way, no. And so it's, you know, and Eris in Aries is all about personal ego too. Like, you can't do that to me. And so we are having this as one of our backdrops all year long. It's going to be continuing. It was last year, started last year. So we have this Pluto squaring off with Eris as a backdrop. I believe this is one of the reasons we're having so many mass shootings going on, people getting all personal ego, all riled up, like, you can't do this to me, F that. And, you know, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to shift this, you know, wrecking ball kind of energy going on. I think this is one of the reasons we're having so much of the protesting going on, the standing up for rights, but also people going off the chain with their anger. Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war, right? So it's over here, interestingly, conjuncting the United States Mars. Right now, today, Mars is, let me see where, come on, there we go. Mars today's at 22 degrees of Gemini. So it's just gone over and gone past the United States Mars. So we're having a Mars return right now as well. So this is the god of war conjuncting the god of war, pissy, angry, volatile energy. In Gemini, it can be about communication because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is about our communication, our transportation, our technology, our travel. So the fact that Mars has been conjuncting the United States Mars, again, I feel like is why we're having more of this crap happening in our country right now with volatile energy. And also it's been kind of Mercury retrograde-ish. Anybody else notice that? And like, people ask me, is Mercury retrograde? It's like, no, it was retrograde in February, but this is kind of the energy because Mars is in Gemini, and so is our North Node right now. And North Node is sort of the collective focus, like where we're all supposed to be focused, and we're all being taught something. We're learning new things. We're pointed to a new direction. So right now, today, the North Node is at 11 degrees of Gemini, and then the South Node is always opposite here at 11 degrees of Sag. So that all the planets move this way, kind of counterclockwise around the chart, and the nodes move clockwise. So they move backwards in time. So like here, this is 0 degrees of Sag, this is 29 degrees. So there's 30 degrees in each sign. And so the nodes are moving backwards. So right now we have the South Node at 11 conjunct United States rising. This is the ascendant or rising sign at 12. So last week it was exactly conjunct our rising, how we show up in the world. Rising signs are about how you show up in the world. So the South Node represents our collective past life karma, what we're letting go of, what we're releasing. This is also, since it's in Sag, it's about our belief systems. Gemini is about what we think. So we're having a transformation right now around our thinking and our beliefs. This is collectively everyone on the planet. And for the United States, the first house is also our identity in the world. Like, who are we? What are we? What do we represent? Right? And then the 7th house here is our connection with others. This is the house of relationships. So, you know, we could be having a square off with other nations because of this. This is the seventh house is your lovers, your friends, your co-workers. It's also your enemies, your seen enemies, the ones that'll tell you to your face, man, I can't stand you. And then whereas 12th house is your hidden enemies, the ones that'll stab you in the back, gossip about you behind your back kind of thing. So, so Pluto here, squaring off with Aries. And then we're going to have a square this week with the sun, which is right now at 21 degrees. It'll move to, no, it's at 22. What is it at the moment? It's at 21. It'll move to 22 degrees this evening by the new moon. So the new moon is when the moon and the sun are together in the skies, whereas a full moon is when the moon is opposite the sun in the skies. So right now, as I'm recording this early Sunday morning, and you'll be surprised that this is coming out earlier, I wanted to get this out earlier today because the new moon this evening. So the new moon will be conjunct the sun here at 22 degrees later this evening. So this is interesting to me too, that this new moon, so new moons are always new inception points, new beginnings, planting of new seeds. Usually it's for the next lunation cycle, 28 days until the next new moon. So it's great to begin new things, start new things on a new moon. You've got the energy of birth, rebirth, and here we are in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. And so this new moon is extra potent because this is the beginning of the lunar year. So whatever intentions, visualizations, things that you instigate today or in the next couple of days around the new moon will be what the cause for the whole year. And when you manifest something, it's always important to state it as if it's already happening. Now, I really want this to happen. No, I see this happening. For example, if you want to manifest relationship, I have the most amazing, wonderful relationship in my life. Not, I really want to have an amazing, wonderful relationship in your life. I want kind of implies that you don't have it. If you go ahead and put something in the affirmative, I have this fabulous new job. I have this wonderful new home. You know, it gets more potency. So what's interesting to me is the sun also illuminates, right? And so does the moon. The moon illuminates. This is the United States Chiron at 20 degrees of Aries. Chiron in a birth chart is where we've experienced wounding in past lives in a personal chart. And its glyph looks like a key. So the key to Chiron is when we heal our woundedness, it becomes an area of strength, right? But it's a sore spot until that point. So the United States has Chiron in the fifth house. The fifth house is the house of children. It's the house of sexuality and romance, creativity. I find it very interesting, this, right? Because so when I started doing professional readings, I guess after a few years, it struck me that there were so many of the clients that were drawn to me had been sexually abused as children, to the point where I started asking, okay, is there an epidemic in our society of child sex abuse? Or is it just because I'm healer, I'm drawing wounded people and that's why? And I think it was probably a combination of both. But as I started to talk about, do we have an epidemic? I got goosebumps everywhere. And I've now seen in 33 years of psychic readings, we have an epidemic of childhood sexual abuse. It's horrific, off the chain. Like if we had a pie graph of every child that's being abused right now in their homes, or adults on the planet that were sexually abused as a child, even one incident of sexual abuse or sexual molestation can impact your entire life. So people that have been repetitively abused sexually, it's very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult to heal. And I see that it shows up and really is sabotaging in relationships. So interestingly, United States has this Chiron in the house of sexuality and children, right? So And here the sun illuminates things. And so what has come into the headline in this last week? Another US senator who is being accused of child trafficking, right? So, and again, I just feel like until we heal this stuff, it's our armpit, it's our crotch in this society. Like, it is the worst part about the American society, I think. So with the moon and the sun touching into the United States Chiron here, this kind of stuff can come to light. I'm bringing it to light here in this video. All right, so let me go back to the outer planets. So we've got Pluto in Capricorn, conjunct the United States Pluto, squaring off with Aries. It will also square the sun this coming Friday. So that can feel like a potent explosion. Usually when two planets square off, it's like coming to an intersection at the same time. It's like, which one's going to go first? It can be a turning point in a positive way, but it can be where rubber meets the road, and it can be explosive, especially when Pluto's involved or when Mars is involved in a square. It can be more intensive, whereas other planets can be less intensive. So there can be something really coming to a head in your life with your personal power, Aries, sun in Aries, and this is for everyone, with governmental power, or whoever has power and control over you in your life, Pluto, can really come to a head this week. And again, just because an aspect is on a certain day doesn't mean that's the day it'll show up in your life, because we feel transits beforehand, we feel them after. So we're heading into the new moon right now as I record this on Sunday morning. And so it can be sort of the dark side, especially a new moon. It's like the dark side of the moon is before it is actually new. It's been the waning moon into, or the waxing, right? I forget the terms, but it's going smaller and smaller and smaller. The moon gets darker and darker and darker in the skies up until the new moon. And then it starts getting brighter, right? Until the full moon. And so it's the waning and then the waxing. It's kind of like for starboard and helm. Like, I get all those front and backwards things, but you know what I'm talking about, that it's darkest before the dawn. It gets intensive. So it can bring up stuff going on in your life as you're heading into the new moon. And then the new moon is a great time to set the new intentions, new beginnings. Let's do it this way. And again, this new moon is setting intentions for the whole next year, next lunar year. So it's super potent, super powerful. I really recommend that you write down your intentions, or at least get them clearly in your mind. It's a great time to do vision boards where you put on it what kind of things you want to manifest in your life. All right, Pluto. Then we have Neptune. Neptune right now is at 21 degrees of Pisces. So right now we have these two, the sun and Neptune, are in a positive aspect with each other. And we also have Mars squaring off with Neptune right now, because Mars is at that 22 degree point. Neptune's at 21. Again, it's not exact square, but it's close. We had the exact square this last week. So Neptune is one of the most psychic planets. The other psychic planet is the moon. Neptune is it's the psychic radar. It's a spiritual planet, especially Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, so it's on its home turf. So it can be the most powerful. You can have amazing spiritual downloads, and Neptune's been in Pisces for a while. Again, it's at 20 degrees. It's a slow moving planet, so it's going to hang out here in Pisces for a while to come. But you can have incredible psychic downloads, incredible dreams, spiritual experiences galore. A lot of people have been drawn to spiritual practices, and when I'm talking to my private clients, there's a whole lot of people who've started spiritual practices or reinstalled spiritual practices while the Neptune has been in Pisces. A draw to want to meditate, even if you haven't. The downside of Neptune can be delusion, illusion, addiction, especially in Pisces, which can be really nebulous. It's a water sign. It can bring out all the feels in a positive way. It can bring out all the feels in a negative way. So we've had Neptune, right? This dreamy spiritual thing, squaring off with Mars. I want to do this. No, I don't know. I don't. So it maybe have been difficult to get your energy up for things this week, or you could have had this spiritual aha realization about how to take action with the square off between Mars and Neptune. So again, it shows up differently. I look at transits like the weather forecast. Say we've got an 80% chance of thunderstorms. Well, we still leaves us with a 20% chance that we won't have thunderstorms. And just because there's an 80% chance of thunderstorms doesn't mean it's going to be striking lightning at your house or at you, but there's a potential for it. It does indicate that it would not be a good day to schedule a picnic, right? So that's kind of how I look at the astrology. Doesn't mean something's going to happen. It just means conditions are ripe for certain things. So when the conditions are ripe for a square, it's a heads up, pay attention. You can easily get into conflict with someone, right? When it's a trine or a sextile or a conjunction, it enhances, it brings out the best in things. When it's an opposition or a square, it can bring out the most intensive meetups between two planets. So there we have Neptune. Then we have Uranus. Uranus has been in Taurus for a couple of years. Uranus takes 7 to 8 years to transit a sign. So it's transiting Taurus, again, representing the earth, right? What we value, second house stuff, our money, our finances, where we store things, our food. Uranus is a very spiritual planet. It's the great awakener. Like Pluto, it can be disconcerting. Pluto, we can kind of see coming. It's like the tornado we see coming. Uranus is much more like lightning, where all out of nowhere it strikes, right? It is the king of curveballs. It will bring sudden, unexpected things. We don't know where it's coming from. You cannot predict accurately anything that has an aspect to Uranus. You can predict that things will be unpredictable. That's for sure. That's one of the things you can predict. But here in an earth sign, here literally on the planet representing the earth, Taurus, we've been having unpredictable earth things happening, right? Crazy fires, volcanoes exploding, earthquakes, floods, crazy freezing temperatures, right? Extreme weather conditions on the earth have been happening. Sudden, unexpected, out of nowhere kind of stuff is happening. It will continue to happen for the next 5 years. Probably coming to a head here at the 29th degree of any sign is kind of like the final exam, the test where things can get the super most radical. When Mars, who's up here in Gemini, was on the 29th degree of Aries, that's when we had the raid on the Capitol, right? So Mars, the god of war, in its last degree of Aries, where it had been parked for 6 months, going back, Mars had gone backwards and forwards here in Aries. So it had been, it's almost like when you wind something up, it was set, ready to blow. So when Uranus gets to the later degrees of Taurus, I expect we could have catastrophic earth changes by the time it gets there. I still, we all know there's a fault line running through California. That's a logical, rational, scientific thing. With Uranus and Taurus, I've been predicting major earthquakes happening in California. They had some recently this last week. I mean, there's always rumblings, right, or all around the globe at some part, but this will be kicking up as Uranus goes into later degrees. Okay, so we got Uranus right now, it's at 9 degrees of Taurus. So if you have any planets at 9 degrees or thereabouts in Taurus, you may be feeling this energy stirring things up, kicking things up, things coming out of nowhere. The positive thing about Uranus is that if it shakes things down, it replaces it with something even better. So all year long right now, we have a square between Uranus here in Taurus and Saturn here in Aquarius. Right now, Saturn's at 12 degrees. Uranus is at 9. So it's it's still 3 degrees. So it's still a square. So all year long, it was exact in February when we had the great snowvid, as we're calling it here in Texas, where we had unprecedented snow and ice and freezing temperatures, which kept us into our home. Saturn keeps things restrained, restricted, constricted. Uranus, sudden unexpected weather, had us stuck in our homes. And not only that, the power went out and the water went out. This is like strange, unexpected events keeping us stuck, right? Saturn is our boundaries, our restrictions, our constrictions, our rules. It's the stop sign in the zodiac. So Saturn in Aquarius. So Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So Uranus, sudden unexpected things. Saturn's in the sign right now of sudden unexpected things. So this is also on a personal level helping us shake up and restructure our lives here. This whole square all year long in your personal life is, shaking up and restructuring this area of your life. Shakeups can be positive. Uranus can bring in sudden, wonderful things can come in. It can take things away as well. So dramatic exits and entrances can happen when you've got something going on with Uranus. Saturn here in Aquarius. So we had the exact square in February. We'll have another exact square in June, and then again in December. But all year long, these two are squared off, right? So this is a backdrop that we're all moving through right now, this square off between Uranus and Saturn. So, so a lot of people are changing up their lives in major ways, restructuring their lives. All of a sudden, they're fired. All of a sudden, they get a job opportunity. That can be a Saturn squared Uranus thing. Relationships can go belly up. All of a sudden, someone tells you, I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. Your structure, how you formed your life, your relationship you've been in, all of a sudden gets jacked up and changed, right? So it'll be interesting to see how it shows up in June and December. We see how it showed up in February. Uranus is sudden unexpected. It will definitely not show up in the same way, but something unexpected will affect our structures, our boundaries, our rules, our laws. Okay, that's just coming attractions. We have Jupiter here at 25 degrees of Aquarius. So it is got in a nice relationship here, emphasizing Pluto, death and transformation. So Jupiter makes things bigger. It expands things. Here it is expanding, since it's in a symbiotic relationship with this principle of death and transformation. We will be having the moon squaring Jupiter on Wednesday of this week. The moon will move into Taurus tomorrow on Monday, and then it'll be conjuncting this Uranus. So when the moon approaches Uranus, there can be that activation of Uranus, bringing more emphasis to the Uranus energy. And so Jupiter here at I have in my notes that square is going to be on Wednesday, and then we have this. Is there another Jupiter? We have Mars trining Jupiter. That's a positive aspect. A trine is usually between the same signs, right? Here we got Gemini air, Aquarius air. So it's already in a trine. It will be an exact trine. That'll be next Saturday when they trine up. So Jupiter expands the principles of Mars. So again, there can be this trine can expand the war god energy, but it can also expand Mars is our ego, how we take action in the world, how we move forward, how we put energy into things. So it can expand our energy of wanting to put energy into things. So, and Jupiter right now is conjunct the United States moon. So in a personal chart, the moon represents your emotions, your intuition. In a chart like for the United States, the moon represents the people. So there's an expansion of the people in Aquarius here. So this is everybody for all for one. Aquarius is everybody vibing together. So this says in the United States was really formed for all people to come together right now, right? And so Jupiter is sort of expanding this principle of everybody coming together in the United States. So unifying. So this is a beautiful aspect right now in the United States of people coming together. All right, Jupiter, what have I not touched on yet? We've got Mercury. Right now, Mercury is at 13 degrees of Aries. So as I record this right now, it's conjunct the moon, Mercury communication, chatty, 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 chatty. This is an intuitive channel. Good thing I'm channeling right now while this is going on. So the intuit, the psychic, can be channeling easier communication right now. We've just had Mercury go over Chiron, which is at 9 degrees of Aries right now. So we've got the symbiotic relationship here between Chiron, the wounded healer, and Uranus. So we can have sudden and unexpected things show up that help us heal something. Mercury going over Chiron, maybe you've had an important conversation yesterday or today around something that you need to heal or something that where you've been wounded personally, right? So Mercury, the moon, the sun, Venus are all here in a stellium. If we add Eris and Chiron here, we got a powerful stellium, potent stellium in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, which is over here in Gemini. Gemini is also media, right? Communication. So it rules the media, social media and stuff like that. And so we have this heightening Jupiter of the social media aspect right now. And then in this square off later this week of the sun and Pluto, and we have a square off between Venus and Pluto going on as well. So the stellium wins when it squares off with Pluto. So like if you have a personal power battle show up, I mean, this may be where you're asserting your rights this week. You can't do this to me anymore. This is not okay. Whereas Pluto can sometimes have the upper hand. The person in power, the powerful institution wins over you in a square. With all this stellium in Aries, which represents the individual, you know, there can be some potent interpersonal transformation going on here too. That can be another way. It just shows up like a really matchup of something like what you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, what you love, where you're putting your energies in the world. All that can be aspected this week. That's why I feel like it's a potent week. And then we have this new moon, which is, you know, also conjunct Eris. So a new moon about standing up for yourself. You know, so there's a big, huge energy this week in standing up for your rights, standing up for yourself. People who are in a spiritually aligned thing, Jupiter and Pisces, can have just these major aha moments, transformations. People in a lower vibration who are stuck in themselves, who don't see clearly, can just feel super pissed off with all this Aries energy, Mars energy, just like kicking the hornet's nest. And so explosions of anger and stuff like that have been going on too. And again, the sun has been in Aries while we've had a handful of mass shootings in this society and murder suicides and stuff like that going on. Like a lot of this is the Mars energy getting stirred up by the sun being in Aries and people in a lower unconscious vibration acting out. So, it's all like where you're at vibration wise. What's your consciousness level at right now? So we have Black Lilith. Let's see, where is she today? Is at 19, right on top of the United States Vesta. So this is the 6th house of health and work and service. So and Black Lilith represents our deep fears, that we've drug in from past lives. Vesta, I see it as a place where we sacrifice ourselves. So we have this hookup in the United States here of our deepest fears of like, oh no, I don't want to have to sacrifice myself here in work, in health. So what's going on in health in the country right now? COVID. fears. People are fear they're going to lose themselves to fear something in the sixth house of health. You know, some people are fearing the vaccinations, right? And here we have Mars. Mars is also the scalpel, the needle. Mars is going into everyone here, the connections with everybody. So we got needles going into arms as well. I kind of see that going on. Let's see, is there anything else I feel like I need to talk about in terms of transits? Let me just go over the week here. Right now we've got Venus squaring off with Pluto. So Venus is what we love, who we love, how we receive energy, squaring off with transformation. So this can show up in great transformations in relationships, right? You can have a come to a head in relationship. You cannot do this to me anymore. No, I won't go. Again, it's in later degrees of Aries. So it's wrapping up this energy. So these things have maybe been building in your relationships and maybe coming to a head this week. With Venus scoring Pluto and then the sun scoring Pluto later this week, especially the new beginning energy of this new moon is like, I'm starting something new. No more. I'm not going to do this. You can't do this for me. It can also be like a great transformation in relationships, like taking relationships up to the new level, new relationships coming in here with the new moon and the sun conjunct Venus. Here can be new and starting new things into the things you love. Like, oh, I've always wanted to paint, but I just never thought I was good. So this may be the time where it's time to go buy those canvases and paints and, you know, enroll in that online art class. You know, write that song, start writing that book you've been thinking of doing. Like, what do you love? Who do you love? There could be new starts this week with that energy. The moon crosses over Venus tomorrow. So this will also be highlighting this love aspect, these things I was just talking about. And then the moon moves into Taurus tomorrow. So it, you know, in the early degrees, when anything's at 0 degrees, it makes us kind of wiggy. We can hold space, but we'll definitely feel this shift in energy when the moon goes into Taurus from Aries. It goes into this fiery, inspired into Taurus is very much more slow paced. Sometimes you can just get kind of tired and sleepy with that shift because there's this fiery Aries into Taurus. Wait, hold up. Let me check this out. Let me feel this out. But then the Mars will be conjunct Uranus. So again, the sudden unexpected theme can be hitting tomorrow, really any time with, you know, this square off between Saturn and Uranus. Uranus can fire off. And again, how that affects your personal chart will depend on, you know, where your planets line up. The sun will be sextiling Mars on Tuesday. So the sun in a nice communication with Mars. So again, you may get those ideas about what you want to initiate. You can get really clear about what you're loving, and you may be just putting it into action with the sun sextiling Mars on Tuesday. The Mars will also the moon will cross over Uranus that same day, and Venus will move to 29 degrees. So again, it'll be at this tipping point of Aries, Venus. So this can, I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's not more murder suicides, because a lot of times those situations are with people that you love, right? The murder suicide thing happens often with people that you love or that you did love, and I'm going to take you out, I'm going to take myself out. Wouldn't be surprised if there's not more of those, or another mass shooting this week with people targeting loved ones, or even just anyone to take out their inner feelings. Again, low vibrational people that aren't evolved are taking their stuff out on the world because they're getting so triggered. So Tuesday can be a volatile day, really. Monday, tomorrow, the sun's going to be at 22 degrees. So that's a breakthrough energy later tonight. Let me move to my chart here. I just want to show something. No, I'm getting all this other stuff clicking up. Okay, this is my chart. So I have my natal moon at 22 degrees. So this sun new moon combo is hitting me directly, and I have my moon in my 7th house, relationships. So this is a hallmark, a highlight for me to have new beginnings in relationships. Personally, especially because Venus has been transiting my 7th house, the sun. We've had the sun conjunct Venus for a couple of weeks now. Venus is starting to pull away from the sun. But so the conditions have been ripe for me for relationship stuff. Here, Jupiter is also conjunct my Venus, expanding the principle of relationships and what I love and who I love. Pluto is conjunct my South Node. This is past life connections, transformative energy from past lives. And I will say that I have had someone new. I've had actually someone news coming in this last week, but I have someone special new that I've got my eye on that's just come in. So that's interesting. We actually have plans later today. So that's an interesting connection here between the sun and the moon here. Conjunct my moon. So again, if you have planets that are conjunct these outer planets, you can feel these transits more strongly than if you don't have anything conjunct, right? So I have Uranus here in my 8th house. I don't have any planets here, but this is my house of death and transformation. When Uranus first went in there, I had a surprising death of a close friend. This is, that's just an example. Okay. Then moving on. So Venus at its last degree on Tuesday, going into Taurus on Wednesday. So the moon and Venus moving into Taurus this week. So we'll definitely feel that energy shift. Taurus is, we all may want to get artistic and creative, go hug a tree because of this energy of Taurus coming in. It'll cool off the fires of Aries a little bit too. So Venus actually moves into Taurus Wednesday, and then we'll have the moon squaring Jupiter, which is a highlighting and an aspect of that energy. And it can be a highlight personally of transformation. It can be, Jupiter expands things, brings knowledge. The square off between the moon and Jupiter, it can bring out emotions in a strong way. Moon's your emotional nature. So you can have your emotions get super big on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have the sun sextiling Jupiter. So a positive aspect between the sun and Jupiter. So that should be a feel-good day. The moon will be moving into Gemini. And Mercury moves to 21 degrees. So Mercury changes a sign. It's getting closer to this point where the new moon is. So you may be instigating something. There is definitely new beginnings all over this place for this week, the energy. And that day, the sun will be at 25 degrees, which is a spiritual number, right? So Jupiter here at 25 is super spiritual. The moon here, super spiritual, connected. So there's just this emphasis, and Neptune here in Pisces, lots of spiritual psychic opportunities this week too for connection. Then on Friday, the sun and Pluto square. Now the sun will be at 26 degrees. So 26 is a benchmark degree. It's what I feel to, and 6, what I can open up to. It can often be something when it's benchmark day energies. And so sun squaring Pluto that day, and then Jupiter moves to 26 degrees. So Jupiter changes a degree. It will be exactly conjunct my Venus that day. So that's a powerful, potent thing happening on Friday. And then on Saturday, get ready for it, we have Mercury squaring Pluto. So this is where you may just tell somebody off. Mercury, what I think, what I feel, squaring off. It'll be up here at 27, squaring off with Pluto. We'll have Mars trining Jupiter, expanding the Mars principle. We'll have Mercury, which will be up here sextiling Mars as well. And we'll have the moon crossing over Mars. So Saturday can be a super explosive, potent day. 27 is the master number of Aries. It could be a volatile day. especially like this anytime this week there's a volatility factor. Again, low vibration, low energy can be exploding this week. Higher vibration can be breakthroughs, aha moments, realizations going on. Okay, so now I want to move to, that's all I can see, all I want to talk about right now about the transits for this week. Powerful, potent week. So I want to show you, so this chart was generated in astro.com. All right, so I'm going to bring up, and I recommend everybody sign up for astro.com. It's free to just register, right? You get into astro.com, is your homepage. You can go into My Astro, put in your birth data, your time, your place, of course, the date of your birth, and then all your loved ones. And you can really have, there's so much that this site has to offer for free. All right, so here under horoscopes, this is all the list of things that are free that you can click on. There, of course, are daily personal horoscopes, your love horoscopes, celestial events, which are, you know, what the kind of transits that are going on and how they may be affecting you. Of course, you know, personal, let me click here. Personal daily horoscope will be an overview of, it'll give you a little blurb and point out the highlights. It'll also tell you here what are some of the influences that are going on. Uranus trine Pluto, Mars in the ninth, and this is all personal, right? So it'll give you a little written blurb. You can go into general, this is, or love, or the mundane. You can go into yesterday or tomorrow. All right. There's a personal portrait thing you can click here, which will go over the highlights. It's not your whole chart, but it'll go over major aspects in your chart. Let me have it. So here's like the ascendant in Libra, Venus in the 5th house. It tells me all about what that means. Venus in the 5th. Here we go. Saturn in the 5th. It tells me what that means. Sun in the 7th. Sun opposite the ascendant. Moon in opposite the ascendant. These are just some of the key aspects that it'll just give you for free about your own personal chart or anyone else's that you plug in here. You know, you can click here and change for the horoscope. It'll give you a short report forecast. So these are how the transits, the major transits may be affecting you. Uranus trine Pluto. These are how they're affecting me. Jupiter sextile my moon, right? Jupiter conjunct Venus. I was just talking about this. It talks about all that can bring, you know, this influence occasionally will bring a new love interest into your life. See, that's one of the things. It'll just, and it goes over your planets, you know, this will be personal to you. And so that is under this short report. Short report forecast. You can do a short report partner. You can click in somebody else. I've got my son here loaded up, Rafe. And so it tells what our partnership can be together. This is my son. You can put your, anybody you're in relationship with. There'll be pros and cons in each thing. So it'll give you a little rundown of relationship stuff. There's all these other, I'm not going to go into everything, but everything that's on this list here is free. One of my favorite things about this is the AstroClick features. AstroClick Portrait will bring up your chart. Now they don't use a whole sign system. They use, I think, Placidus or something. So it's a different system than I use, but it doesn't matter. It's still great information. So here's my chart, not any of the asteroids, just the planets. And I can click on certain features. Like I can click here on the sun glyph. It'll give me all these different things I can click on. Sun in the 7th house and what that means. I can click on the sun in Aries and what that means. The sun conjunct Jupiter, what that means. The sun conjunct Mercury, what that means. The sun opposite the ascendant, what that means. The sun square the midheaven, what that means. Sun trine Mars and what that means. That's just all the aspects that are connected to my sun. I can look at my rising here. It'll tell me about Libra rising and any aspects that are in conjunct with my ascendant here, right? You can click on any aspect of the chart. Even here, I don't have anything in Taurus. You have clicked on the 8th house, you know, and it can tell you what the 8th house means. Venus, if you click on a planet, it'll tell you what that means in your personal chart. Super cool, right? You can also click on AstroClick Partner, which will generate a chart, a composite chart, which means it puts two people's charts together. In this case, myself and my youngest son, and it gives, you know, what that chart looks like. And same thing, you can click on the sun, all the different aspects in a composite chart and what, you know, the planets, the aspects, and you can find out what those things mean for you. Yeah, so those are my favorite features on this. When I generate a chart, I go into this extended chart section here. This is how I do it. I come down, I want to do a natal chart here, or if I want to draw a synastry chart, I'll pull it here. If I want to do a composite chart here, there's all these different charts you can draw. But the first one is loaded up as natal, right? And then I come down here into the house system, see all these different houses, and I change it to whole signs. And then I come down here, I want to see where the true node and the descending node, otherwise known as the south node, is. I want to see aspects to Chiron, to the nodes and eclipses, to all objects. I want to see additional opposites. I like Lilith, Chiron, Ceres, Pallas, Juno, Vesta, Aries, and Pholus are the ones that I've been looking at lately. And then I click and bring up a chart, right? There we go. And it brings in all these extra aspects that I clicked on, the asteroids that I like, the nodes, you know? And then if I want to see how the transits, then I can click on this and it brings up the current transits in green and where they are affecting me, right? So that's just one of the things that I chick around here with. Here, if you just click here, shows you where all the planets are right now at this moment, right? So this astro.com, highly recommend it. You can play around on this site forever, for days, and learn all kinds of things about astrology. Of course, there's all kinds of other reports and articles, and you can, you know, pay money to get more extensive things. That's in here too, but there's so much that you can do for free. And like all my clients are stored here under my Astro Bank. Like here, I've got 605 people stored here, their chart information in my account here, and I pay a little bit extra to store that many people. But even without paying any money, I think you can store up to 100. So that's astro.com. Okay, another cool site is astrolata.com. Right? And there's other psychic readers or whatever that you can pay for. But what is really cool is she has a free transit service here, personal transit calendar that's free. So you can click on, of course, you can enter, I've already entered my data in here, but you can register or log in. Here I'm for a free, and she's got a little video that teaches, so I've already got my stuff ready to go here. So I've already put in myself, it tells you how to use this. She's got a little video, and then, you know, my existing profiles, or you can add a new one. I've got me, I've got all my children, key people in my life. So I'm going to click on mine. You get 7 days into the future for free. And these are this is an aspect calendar. So for 7 days here under my chart, here, there's me. And it'll give you the aspects. Like I said, some of this shows up in astro.com too, but I love where it gives it to you on a glyph. So here we are on Sunday. I've got Venus sextiling Venus. I can click on that aspect. It'll tell me how long the transit lasts, pros and cons of the transit, you know, if there are. Let's see, let me go back here. So for all these different aspects, this is Mars sextile the moon, Sun sextile conjunct the moon. So this will just show me what the outer planets are aspecting with my birth chart planets. And again, it's free. It'll give you up to a week in advance. You can see what's going on. Click get more specifics about like, okay, well, at the end of next week, I'm going to be having Mercury conjunct the moon. What is that? Mercury conjunct the natal moon, positive manifestations, negatives to be aware of, how long it lasts, blah, blah, blah. So this is astrolotta.com. She's a free service. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And one that I subscribe to is seriousjoy.com. Now, the first month is just $3.99. So $4 to try it out for a month, right? Seriousjoy.com. It's $19.99, like $20 a month ongoing. It is worth like $2,000 a month in terms of all that is offered here. What I like, he's got so many things. I mean, you get stuff about your own soul biography, your personal love and lust report when you kind of, he's got so many things. What I do daily is click on today's timeline. So it'll bring up, waiting for dun, 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 dun. There we go. Here's Sunday, the 11th, has different aspects going on. Wherever the step number is where he has an audio recording of what's going on for the day. He also writes it up, highlights for the day. So every morning, I pretty much, as I'm eating breakfast, I listen to what's going on in the skies today. He has monthly reports where he goes over the entire month. He just tells you the highlight, like here, the new moon is going to be at its apex at 9:30 p.m., right? And so, and a little blurb about, let me just read what he says. The new moon in Aries is now at apex. That'll be at 9:30 tonight. Envision what you feel you belong doing in the future. Feel that future now. Feel grateful for already having your wish now. This apex period may cause a rush of energy or the opposite. You may feel lethargic, sleepy, or unmotivated. Honor what your feelings are asking for. The moon marks a turning point in your vision of the future. From this moment, there are new possibilities that may not have been imagined before. A step 22 new moon opens the door to unlimited possibilities. Anything future is possible with this new moon, right? And there are so many other things. I mean, this goes over, he talks about an A story and a B story. My A story is Aries. Since I'm an Aries sun, I'm a Libra rising. So Libra is my B story. So he tells me what I can expect every day in a written form as well. There's all these other things too. Like, I mean, I could just go on and on and on. In Sensei Theater, he's got a Namaste Today. That's when he talks about the weekly forecast for the week. There's the daily pep talk there, the monthly. He goes into, he's got these series, The Secrets to Manifestation, 11 Steps to Serious Joy, 40 Days of Self-Love, Weed Ingo, Astro 101, Basics in Astrology course. There's a Joytown forum. There's like weekly discussion meetings with other people, soul support groups, ditto. There's just so much. I just could go on and on and on and on and on. I get like 6 to 10 texts throughout the day. Sometimes it'll be text saying, in a past life, you were blah, 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 blah. Or because of this, he'll just pull different aspects of my birth chart and talk about them. I'm going to stop sharing now. Go back to just me. So I really, really value his service tremendously. So Christopher Witecki, you can also look him up on YouTube. Soul Garden TV is his platform that he operates out of YouTube on. That's how I initially found him, was on YouTube, and then subscribed for a test for the service and was blown away at all that you get for $20 a month. And for the first month for $4, you just can't pass it up. And if you're interested in diving more into astrology and learning more, it's just an easy way. This where I have learned the steps, like what 21 means, what 22 means, what, these different numbers. I've learned that from Christopher Witecki before I started studying with him 3 years ago. I didn't know I just knew about signs and planets and different aspects, but I didn't know that certain numbers meant certain things. So I've learned that from Christopher Witecki. So he's definitely one of my teachers. I also highly recommend Molly McCord on YouTube. She puts out videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays is always the overview for the next week in transits and talks about, and she's also a channel, and Mondays are just varying topics. And she's written books. She's been teaching astrology for years and years. So Molly McCord on YouTube, highly recommend her as an astrologer as well. I mean, I could go on, but that's what I did. When my guides first started telling me that they wanted me to be on YouTube, first I was going, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna be on a video. You is wrong. And I didn't even know what YouTube was. The only thing I had ever seen on YouTube at the point when my guide started telling me that I was going to be on YouTube were music videos from my fellow music friends. Like, I didn't know. I thought it was kind of a music people's thing where people post their music videos. I had no idea it was the encyclopedia of everything there was to know about anything. And so that's what I started with. I started, well, if I'm going to supposed to be on YouTube, I need to see what's going on or what other people are putting out there. So I just started Googling and looking for astrologers and other psychics and what they were doing, mostly astrologers, because, you know, I was more wanting to learn more about astrology. I don't really need to hear another psychic's take on things. I have my own take on things that I feel pretty clear about my direction. I do barter with a couple other really fabulous psychics, but for the most part, I don't really listen to other psychics online, but I follow astrologers because I'm an astrology nerd. I just can't get enough. My shelf of astrology books grows on a daily basis almost. I ordered 3 new astrology books just in the last week, you know, and of course I can't read all of them and do all the YouTube study, but I can't get enough of it. I love it. I love astrology. And it's just an ever deepening, ever widening. I think I'll probably be studying astrology till the day I die. Whereas when I do psychic channel, it's just what's coming through in the moment. So that said, let me take a drink of my sparkling water and move to mini readings for our 12 signs. So I am a channel, which means information will just come through me. I use a non-traditional tarot deck. I use the Osho Zen tarot deck if you're interested in which deck I use. So I leave the interpretations free for in the moment. There's certain associations with certain cards, and I know that, especially after working with this deck for a couple decades, but I leave it open. Like the same card can come up 3 times in a row in readings and mean 3 different things because I'm going to read what it feels like in the moment. So these are going to be 1 card draws. If it's a negative card, I'll draw additional cards to get some clarification. But I'm going to try to keep this video not so long. My videos have been really long lately. If those of you who watch me regularly know, if you stay with me throughout the whole thing, bless you. I really appreciate your long attention. Also would love for those of you who are watching this for the first time to subscribe to my channel, like it, comment, share it with your friends. Those of you that have already subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My psychic website for more information about me is psychedupmovement.com, and I'll put that link below. And also I'll put my email if you want to contact me to do a reading with me. If you want to make a donation because you're loving these videos and you want to just tip me, my email is bringoutthebuddha@gmail.com, and I'll put that link, but that's what you would look up under PayPal if you want to PayPal me a tip. And my Venmo is Karen-Marie-16, like sweet 16, and I'll put those links below as well if you would like to throw a donation. All right, we're going to start with Aries. And this is for sun, moon, and rising, or if you have a stellium in Aries. And let's see what's going on this week, what the Aries need to know about this week. I'm going to cut them today. All righty. So Aries get the inner voice card. This is one of my psychic cards. This is about listening to your own intuition. This is that there will be psychic downloads this week without exception. Listen to your own intuition. Now, I believe everyone is psychic. We all have psychic abilities. And for some of us, the volume's turned up louder. Others volumes turned down or off. But if you start to pay attention to your intuition, it will grow and get bigger. And a lot of times people don't know the difference between their intuition and their mind. Like I don't know. When I start trying to tune in, I didn't know the difference. It was all kind of jumbled up in my mind. Like, what's my mind? What's my intuition? I'm not sure. So intuition is more of, I feel, it's a gut feeling. It can show up here in your heart chakra. It can show up in your gut. You can feel it in your third eye. You can feel it sometimes behind your third eye, here in the back of your head, to the back of your neck. I'll feel things sometimes when I'm channeled, it literally feels like it's coming through the top of my head. When things are really on, or I'm getting psychic information, a lot of times I'll have goosebumps or a charged flow of energy running through my system. So that's just how it shows up for me. Other people are visual. They'll see little sprite lights go off, or they'll see auras or see spirit guides, see visions in their dreams or conscious waking state. Other people hear things audibly, or the sense of hearing is turned up louder. So somebody's in passing will say something, and a piece of what they said will fire off, and you'll hear a piece that you need to hear. There's all kinds of different ways that people's intuitions show up, but the intuition is the voice of the higher self. And everybody has a higher self. We all have a Buddha nature. I'm a Buddhist, so I call that my Buddha nature. We all have a Christ self if you're a Christian. We all have a higher power self, divine intuition, divine guidance. We have that internally. And then we all have guides that work with us, and angels and loved ones that are around us. I feel like it's important to put a protective shell around yourself so that you don't just open up to just anything. And so spiritual practices come in handy in that way. And there's a new moon here on the bottom of this card. So this new moon is in Aries. So Aries, you're going to be feeling this stronger than most because it's in your sign. So this is definitely, if you've been wanting to manifest something, if you've been wanting to start something new, this is the time to do it. That you can have your manifestations come into material form. And again, this is for the next year, and I'm getting chill bumps with that. So this feels like a super powerful week for the Aries. I also see these dolphins, so it can be really a super powerful week for relationships, especially psychic connections with other people. You may get information about people that you're psychically connected to, loved ones that have crossed over. Yeah, it just feels like intuition is on fire this week, Aries. So enjoy that. All right, which means it's a great week to get a reading from me, as I'm a triple Aries. So bring it. If you want a reading, contact me. Okay. Taurus. Doing a cut. Taurus, you guys have the past life card coming up. So this is about your mission on this planet. Why did you come here? What did you sign up to do? It's about past life connections with other people. So you may meet or just have a connection with someone that you have a deep, deep relationship with from past lives, situation that feels like it's karmic. Yeah, it's a potent week for you, Tauruses, too. It can be a week for downloads, insights, past life flashbacks. The new moon is going to be powerful for everybody. It's not like sign just connected just to the Aries. So Taurus is, all the signs are going to feel the new moon in a powerful way. I just get sort of a divine guidance, or feeling like the divine is showing up in your life in a very palatable way, where you feel held and supported by powers that are greater than you. It's not just you efforting, it's really just seeing the mark of, wow, Oh, wow. I couldn't have done that for myself. You may be at a crossroads, a decision making. Again, if you're having to make a decision, don't get up in your head and try to figure it out. Trust your gut. Where do I feel guided to do? The mind can be just chattery and like, well, you need to do this, you should do that. Whereas the intuition will just be, wouldn't you love to? Wouldn't it be fabulous if? Oh, it'd really feel good if. That's more how the intuition speaks to us. So if you're at a crossroads at trying to make a decision, get out of your head, stop, breathe, tune in, do spiritual practices, and see where you feel guided. See where the flow. If you follow intuition, there's a flow about your life. Whereas if you make decisions out of the logical, rational brain, sometimes you can run into the brick walls or the stop signs at every turn or the no parking place. Whereas if you're listening to intuition, you flow, it's green lights and beautiful flow in the open parking spaces. So it feels like if you listen and tune in, this can be a super powerful week of feeling held by the divine, Tauruses. All right, Geminis. Take another swig. And my buble. All right, Gemini, you guys have the guidance card. So kind of ditto what I said about intuition in the Taurus reading. This is about listening to what you're being channeled, what you're being guided to do. You may be turning away from something that your mind may say, well, can I really do that? Can I can't. There's maybe some fears come up, or worried about how other people see you or perceive of you, or worried about other people literally. Follow your intuition, follow your own internal guidance system. You cannot go wrong. There is something that you are clearly being guided to do this week that's not coming from your brain. Geminis, you guys are probably, Geminis and Virgos, both ruled by Mercury, have it the hardest when it comes to tuning into intuition because your mind is so empowered. And Gemini's the twin. So it's like speaking out of two different sides of your head. So there's always a committee going on in the Gemini mind. And so they can, well, maybe this, maybe that. I think this, I think that. If something internally is, well, I think, no. That's the mind. That's the logical, rational mind. We want to tap into higher mind. What do you feel? So that's a good thing that Geminis, that you can ask yourself, well, what do I feel I should do here? Is another word you can replace for guidance. What do I feel drawn to doing? Not what do I think I should do? What do I feel guided to do? That's gonna really shift your week if you follow your inner guidance and do what you feel guided to do. It can just open up. You can find you're on a completely new trajectory this week, Gemini, if you follow guidance. And if you don't, you're gonna feel stuck this week. That's what it feels like. Okie dokie, Cancers. The understanding card is coming up for you, Cancer. So this is like an aha realization. It's thinking outside of the cage where you kept yourself caged or felt not free to move about the cabin. I can't do this. I can't do that. This is like, oh, but I can do this. Like if you're focused on this power control, someone else has the power or the control for you. Where in your life do you have power and control? What do you have power and control over? It's like I'm filling the serenity prayer here with you guys, Cancer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And the understanding is like having an aha moment, like having a like, okay, getting the why of something. You have a wonderful opportunity to get the why. Why do I have this? Why is this situation like this? Why do you always do? Okay, getting a karmic aha is what I see going on for the Cancers this week. Feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like it's real important to get outside and see the birds and the trees and get out of your stuck state. You may need to clean your house or home to feel like there's more freedom of movement inside your house as well. And there may be messages coming in from other people, like little birdies whispering in your ear kind of thing, intuitive messages coming in through friends. It could literally through Facebook Messenger or Twitter or text, phone calls, emails. It feels like there's good news coming in, but it may be different from what you expect. There may be sudden movements into something else or an aha area. It's an aha around an area that you felt stuck or haven't been able to see your way through. A light appears and you know which direction to take. You get information this week that's really revelatory. That's what I'm getting. All right, let's go to Leos. Hearing the courage of the Lion King. And when I say hearing, it's more of a knowing. It's not like I audibly hear something. It's just like I know. You guys have the transformation card this week, Leo. So this is coming out of your illusion, your delusion. You may have amazing dreams. You may be just making a pivotal move or shift this week, or something may cause that shift from the outside. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. What was dead is now a rebirth. It's an empowerment. It's the lotus flower blooming. It's seeing the yin and yang of things. Deep level transformations on every level is what it feels like, Leo. Like you may experience changes in your life on every level this week. It feels very empowering. I would be writing this stuff down in a journal this week because it's going to be an amazing week for the Leos this week. So awesome. Okay, Virgos. I'm going to get out of your mind. Get out of your thoughts. Ditto what I said to the Geminis on that front. I'm hearing a tune. I wear my sunglasses at night. I have no idea what that's about, but I guess some Virgos out there will get it and know. All right, you guys have the aloneness card, which could mean that you're spending time alone this week. You're not spending it with others. You feel a draw to just being alone, or that life is leaving you alone. People you want to be with, you can't be with. It could be that. The aloneness card, though, see this hermit's heading into the light. So this card always depicts the story of a spiritual journey, a spiritual life, because our spiritual connections are always unique to us. Even if you're meditating with a group of people, or you're in church, or you're in the synagogue, or you're in the temple, you're with others, your connection, your experience of the divine is going to be different. You're going to be having that alone internally. So it's definitely draw to spiritual practices, a draw to spiritual studies, making a trip, taking some time away so you can be alone. If you have to leave your place to get alone time, you may be feeling called to do that. And I would suggest just carving out that time, because Virgos can get stuck up in their head and stuck into service for other people and oh, you wanted me to do that? Okay, I'll do that. And just table themselves and throw themselves out the window to help someone else. So if you want to carve out this time, put it on your candle, mark it out, tell your partner, tell your kids, hey, I'm taking this time, this day for myself, just FYI, don't schedule me. Tell your secretary, don't schedule me at this time. And move deeper into this spiritual contemplation. There's a rich resource of just feeling supported by the universe, feeling like you're getting inspired direction. You can feel channeled information coming through that just feels like, okay, out of the darkness into the light is what's going on. It feels extra yummy to just breathe and be, to get out of the head, take your head off and just breathe, really tune into what you feel guided to do in that way, whether it's to attend something spiritual, to search online for a spiritual teacher, or to read in a book that's spiritual, or to do spiritual practices. Primarily, it feels like it's spiritual practices. At the very bottom, breath work, breathing deeply in the divine, breathing out all the funk, all the worry, all the indecision, breathing in peace, calmness, security, breathing out all the frenetic energy, just in and out. That is the most simple of spiritual practices. All right, Libras. Jeez Louise, I start doing these and I just get thirstier than I'll get out. Libras. And I'm hearing Louie, 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 Louie. This is the first time I've gotten musical hits with signs. I didn't get it for everybody, but interesting that they're coming in at all. I start getting, when I'm doing readings for others, I start getting information as I start shuffling. So I start paying attention. Shifting gears. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Libras, the completion card is coming up. The solving a puzzle, the last piece, something you've been looking for, and now you've completed it. You're coming to an end with something. You're like, that's enough. I'm done here. I've finished this project. I can move on to a new one. Piecing things together, feeling like you're a piece of a greater whole. Hopefully it's not I fall to pieces. Hopefully it's not that. I feel like it's feeling whole, feeling complete, feeling like something that's been missing you get this week, something you've been wanting, it comes in, is what it feels like to me, Libra. Very encouraging, clarity, insight. This piece is in the third eye area, so it's like, oh, it could be an aha and a realization for you psychically, where you're maybe having trouble tuning in intuition. Maybe all of a sudden, oh, okay, I see, I get, oh, wow. Ooh, I do have a strong operating intuition system. Libras, it's a scale, so you guys can get stuck between maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that, and be hard making decisions, hard making conclusions. So this may be, I decide I'm going to do this, and then you can move the energy forward. Because if you stay stuck in, well, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that, you can keep yourself hung up indefinitely. So at least in one major area of your life, there's a completion, a decision, a clarity. It may be in lots of different areas of your life, Libra, this week, where you just like, oh yes, snap, got this. Clarity for sure coming in for Libras. All right, Scorpios. I'm getting, we all live in a yellow submarine. I guess Scorpio is like the deep, dark waters, right? So like coming in, you might not feel a Scorpio come into the room. They can be very quiet sometimes. They're the greatest keepers of secrets, that's for sure. Sometimes that's not a good thing. But if you need someone to hold your secrets, tell a Scorpio you trust, and they will keep it to their death. But if you're in a relationship with a Scorpio, they may not be telling you everything. In fact, chances are they probably aren't, depending on how they're aspected with other things in their chart. But got lots of Scorpio, they're going to be on lockdown. At least several things. All right, let's see what's going on for the Scorpios this week. The traveling card is coming up for the Scorpios. So this may be symbolically traveling, journeying. What are you doing internally? Where are you in your life now? Where are you going? That kind of assessment. You may be literally traveling this week. You may be planning a trip. You may do a day trip this week. You're headed towards the light. You're headed to brighter skies, greener pastures. You're on a journey of greater understanding and self-knowledge. You're not worried about the clouds. You're not worried about how long it's going to take. You're just doing this day, this one day. What today can I do towards this trip? What today can I do towards my spiritual life, my spiritual journey? What today can I do to move towards my goals? You're not getting overwhelmed by the big picture. You're like a worker ant, just put nose to the grindstone, the next right step. That's what's going on for the Scorpio. It feels like you feel empowered. You're making progress. You can see the progress you've made. You see where you've come. You still have you still got a way to go, but you're encouraged, and you're moving on up. Okay. Sagittarius is, God, and more water. Fiery. Getting shower the people you love with love. So there's definitely something about coming together, come together right now. Y'all get two songs. Coming together with people you love is what seems like the theme is for the Sagittarius. And if you're not doing that physically, you may be in contact with a lot of people that you love this week. Yeah, it feels like there's people showing you the love. Maturity card. This is you needing to have time alone. So if you got a lot of people around you, you may be needing to carve out time for you. This is about self-love, self-care. What can you do to take care of yourself this week's Sagittarius is. This is about self-reflection. You know, this is the bath salts, the scented candles, the incense, the essential oils. This is about getting facials, getting pedicures, getting massages, getting body work, getting healing work. What can you do to nurture and take care of yourself this week? And I feel like there's inspiration about creative ideas. It feels like there's some backup or blocked energy. You may need to express that by talking to someone else about it. You may need to be writing it in a journal. It may need to come out in a piece of art or creative project in some way, because it feels like you need to clear the air, You may need to just organize a room or a closet or a drawer to just clear out some clutter energy so that you feel like you have more energetic space. But it feels like it's a beautiful week. It feels like you feel beautiful or handsome. And feel okay about taking time out for yourself. Don't feel guilty about that. If you need to step away from the crowd and just nurture you this week, do it. Not if you do. I feel like that you do. And so just do it. Just don't feel guilty about it. Take care of you. Enjoy yourself. Do something fun. Do something that would bring you joy. When I say, what brings you joy, Sag? What is your answer? And then find a way to do that this week. Okay, Capricorn. Not getting a song. First signs didn't get songs, so it's not everybody. It's not going to be a regular thing. Participation card coming up for the Capricorn. So this is how well do you work with others, Caps? You're usually the leader. You're usually the boss. So can you take a back seat and take in other people's ideas, take other people into consideration. It's not just about all you. How do we work together, all hands on deck? How can we contribute equally? You may have to ask someone to step up and bring their share, bring their part, but it does feel like it's the cohesive thing, getting together. You may be getting together to practice with your band, getting together with family. There could be a uniting on purpose for people coming together right now. For a specific purpose, like planning a picnic or planning this or that, or a writing session or a team meeting at work. But it feels like everybody's contributing and it feels really good. You don't have to be the one to do everything. Delegating, if you are the one in control, delegate, pass some of that, pass that buck, get some other people in to help make, we all pull together. The theme word for the week this week, Capricorn, is we, not I. What can we do? Not what can I do? What can we do? And make sure you're in a centered place. So if you sit down to have communication, so that positive things come out, not just the darkness. Don't come in there with fire and blaming, and like cautiously approach the volatile people in your life. Right. And let's see what we can chat about. How can we come to a mutual conclusion on something? How can we all put input in, and everybody's opinion matters? That's what I see going on for the week for Capricorns. All right, Aquariuses. The unique, the different, the maverick. Feels like you feel inspired this week. Something good is happening. You feel excited about it. You've got the aloneness card. So this is about the spiritual search. This is making sure things feel right within. Do they resonate to you as truth? Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or feels. What do you feel? Go to the light. Go to where you feel drawn. If it's stepping away from people, great. If you're wanting to have some more spiritual time, more breath work, more time out in nature, do that thing. If you've been thinking about reading this spiritual book or watching this spiritual video, do that. Like listen to your intuition, listen to the download that you're getting directly about which direction to move. You may need to step away to receive the download. You need to get in some stillness or quiet. Feels like it may have been too noisy for you in your life. Like, where can you find the quiet? Where can you go on the job for 5 minutes of breath work? Even if you have to go to the bathroom stall, to just make sure that you are keeping frenetic energy low and plugging into what you need. It feels like there's health and nutrition stuff too. Like, make sure you're doing good for your health this week. You guys may be deciding to get immunized this week, get that vaccination shot, let go of that substance or beverage that's not really working for you and it doesn't. Like, honor what does work, affirm what does work, move away from the things that don't work, or start the movement anyway. This is the new moon. Start a movement in a new direction. Start your new spiritual practice. Start that new direction that you want your life to head. All right. And last but not least, the Pisces. Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me. Dun, dun, dun. Go swimming. Pisces love the water. They're slippery fish to start with. So you're in your element in water. So feels like maybe the week to go swimming, at least go sit near water, be in the water, soak in the tub, stand in the shower for longer than usual. Recharge. Pisces recharge around water. Friendliness is coming up for you, Pisces. So it's in your friendships and your connections with other people. That's important this week. And particularly, and it could be a partner, that's also your friend, or a child or parent that's also your friend. But it's definitely, what's coming to mind is the Khalil Gibran poem about marriage. The pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadows. It's that apart but together kind of energy. Like, we may not be able to be physically together, but we're still connected psychically, spiritually. We may be standing apart from each other, but our roots are intertwined, are connected. Our branches reach out and affect each other. This is like positive energy coming from your friendships and your connections with others. And it may be one person that's primary and highlighted this week for you, Pisces. It may be one particular relationship that stands out, that you're strengthening, or that you need to reach out to someone that is that for you in your life, or has been that for you in your life, and draw on their insights. This is someone who loves you, that supports you. You're definitely seeing love and support showing up in your life this week, Pisces, from people that do appreciate you. Long-term relationships, you may hear from a friend that maybe you haven't heard from in a while this week, but they've been there for you all along. Energetically, they may have been praying for you or chanting for you. Like, there's just a really beautiful energy around friendship and connection this week, Pisces. And maybe it's you that reaches out to someone that you've been thinking about, but someone's been coming across your radar again and again and again. This is the week to reach out and call them, or text them and message them. Write a letter and send it in the mail. Like, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better world if you can. All right, that's what I get this week for the readings. If you've watched this whole thing, thank you so much for your long attention. I appreciate it. And again, subscribe, like, share, send it to your friends and family. Contact me if you want a reading, and have a great new moon week. Peace.